Well, in the pregame show, Sean Elliott told us that it was defense. If you had to do offensive rating and defensive rating, what was more important to prove that the Spurs are ready to be contenders? Well, tonight, that defense, it was on display. The Spurs now 10-0 when they hold opponents under 105. But here's the deal. In the first half, the Celtics scored 55 points. In the second half, they were held to just 40 points. That's a season low, many have for any opponent this season. So San Antonio Spurs got it done defensively. And, offense, Victor Wembanyama only had 5 points in the first half, finished this one with 21. The third quarter, part of an 11-2 run, Wemby scored 9 consecutive points. Time to go to Spurs Vision with Jacob and Sean and that impact that Wemby had in the second half.
Yeah, Chris, I think the guys were listening to you.
Yeah, they better
Get
have
the ball to Victor when he's in there because we, again, don't know how many minutes he's going to play. He played one more minute than he did against the Lakers. So 26 last game, 27 this game. So, he played more.
He got an extra minute added to his minutes restrictions.
One measly minute.
Yeah. So listen, whenever he has these opportunities, you got to take advantage of them. He's out there. We showed you this as our Methodist Healthcare assist. He sees Luka Garza trailing him. He turns on the Jets in the open court, runs right down the middle of the floor like you're supposed to if you're big. Gets an and one there. Now watch his tight curl cut right there. Doesn't allow Derrick White to get in there to help out. Beautiful finish from Victor. And then this block right here reminds me of Giannis Antetokounmpo when he tried to back Victor down in Victor's rookie year and got denied at the rim. And then he runs right down the middle of the floor again. Two defenders there. No one steps up to stop him. He has a free lane to the basket. 16 points in the second half. And again, the thing I love about those 16 points, he's running the floor. He gets that 2 big dunks. But then the isolation plays that they're running, those Dirk Nowitzki type plays where you put him in the middle of the floor. It's hard to double team from the left to right. And then he's got to make the decision to move to his right. There's a lot less defenders over there. He moves to his left. He's got to pull up. But 2 big pull-ups there in the fourth quarter.
We always talk about it. There's just pockets in the season that you'll remember, big time moments. This is a big win. Brian Scalabrine, the U of the Celtics broadcast, came over to us, and I was like, that was an ugly game. And he goes, that was playoff basketball, young man. And that's what you need to do to win. And he's 100% right.
Yeah, no question. It's going to be a grinded out type of basketball come playoff time. It's not going to be 120 to 125. Every single night. And so you got to find ways to win ugly. And your defense has to travel. So our guys turned it up on the defensive end there in the second half, got stops when they needed to, especially down the stretch, clamped down, and that was the key.
It's going to be me on the plane.
Yeah, I know.
You ready for it?
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
Traveling to Minnesota. Chris, we'll see you there.
Yeah, see you guys in Minnesota and looking for a win on back-to-backs. How about Victor Wembanyama delivering in the clutch? Game on the line. When he hit the go-ahead bucket or the game-winning bucket, if you will, the crowd on Wemby's side here in Boston, something you don't hear very often. More Spurs Live coming your way.
Victor had 16 of his 21 in the second half. What did you think of his night? Just how he managed things, shook off those double teams, and then came on late.
Yeah, I think when he was under control, he's so dynamic when he has the ball. He can dictate the tempo or the pace of the game. And so I think sometimes he just gets a little sped up. Like, I know it's hard to say because it's him, but any 21-year-old, and he's been out, and he's not getting to play as much as he wants. So sometimes he's trying to get right to it. And so it's just a continued growth opportunity for him. And I thought, obviously, when it mattered the most, he was at his best. And we'll take that every time and continue to try to get better.
Julian hit the boards, had that big block laid on Derrick. What'd you think of his night?
I think Julian embodied what we were trying to do and what we have been fighting to do more consistent through this stretch in terms of just putting our energy into the right places and not allowing outcomes, results, or shots to dictate that energy.
Victor had that sequence late in the fourth where he didn't get that transition basket, and then they attacked him in the veer, and White was able to get by Fox just because he kind of passed Fox along. When you see him have those moments where he kind of gets on tilt in transition, and then they're able to expose him on the other end, how do you coach him through those moments?
If I'm following you, I believe it was in the fourth when it was a little up and down. I probably could have coached him harder by calling a timeout. The game got a little frantic, and we were getting stops and rebounds, so I'm always mindful to not taking advantage away from our players, but you could see it where we the tank was getting low, and I probably could have called one to keep them under control. But, in those situations, they got to play through it. And we're human, so I get it. At times, you may have to save yourself's the wrong word because we need you to empty the tank as much as possible. But there are certain things where you cannot let your guard down. Transition defense is one. Rebounding is one. Playing with pace is one. And so it's a tough task, and sometimes the game feels like it's swallowing you up in terms of the pace and the physicality and when you have stretches of non-calls. And it's just, again, opportunities for us to fight through because that's what really good teams do. And you can't allow the circumstances of whatever it may be impose their will on yourself or on the team.
I mean, I was trying to tee you up because I thought you did some good coaching. Because after that, with the French vanilla lineup, it forced Shireman to have to cover him instead of Keita, and he was able to shoot over that. So I guess what were you trying to get out of that lineup, and why do you think it worked?
It's a lineup. Obviously, we played a little bit more during the start of the year. It's been hard with circumstances out of our control. We like the lineup a lot in terms of it gives us constant rim protection. We have to be better in terms of we need time to learn what that looks like for everybody else in terms of whether it's navigating, getting over pick and roll screens, pressing up, because you always have a constant of one of those two as your low man on the opposite side, them getting better at communicating, talking that out, bigs in, smalls out, bigs down, smalls up. And so it's going to take time. But the idea of it in terms of rebounding, in terms of it doesn't sacrifice anything we want to do spacing-wise. Luke's extremely smart. I think it has a lot of potential. It's just we have to be mindful and just allow it to grow organically is the best way I could put it.
And that
Spurs now improved to 6-1 on the first night of a back-to-back. I mention that because tomorrow night they face the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that currently sits fourth in the Western Conference standings. Remember, this is a team that's been the back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Now they're 2.5 games behind the Spurs. A big matchup when it comes to the Western Conference standings. Coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern tomorrow and 5:30 local time, and the game will be 6 o'clock local time. So the San Antonio Spurs, again, improved to 12-2 against the Eastern Conference, 14-6 in clutch games, and now 6-1 the first night of a back-to-back. They'll look to continue to keep that great record on back-to-backs together. They're also 5-1 the second night of back-to-backs. Julian Champagnie with 12 points and 13 rebounds. Congrats to De'Aaron Fox with 12,000 career points, 21 tonight. Of course, Keldon Johnson, we talked to after the game with 18 and 10. Victor Wembanyama, 21 points off the bench. We'll see you tomorrow in Minnesota.